come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts.
Hello. Welcome to this video presentation at the Card Maker Success Summit for my live video. My name is Sarah Edwards and my website is craftwithsarah.com. I'm an SVG designer and a card maker from the UK, and my class for the summit is on how to make these two thank you cards, Starburst cards, made with a Cricut machine. So if you're watching my video presentation on how to make these are the two free SVGs that you can download as part of the class. And these are great for using up your pattern scrapbook pages to add some little extra details into all of the sides. And I've got some sparkle and glitter in that one too. So two thank you cards, they're 5 by 7 inch, so they'll fit in a standard 5 by 7 inch envelope. If you're doing that, or of course you could make your own envelope. So if you've got any questions about those cards, I would love to hear them. Type in the comments, or any crafting questions in general, whether it's to do with crafting with a Cricut or just anything really, and I would love to hear from you. So Brenda says, hi Sarah, love your website and love the new look of it. Thank you very much, that is lovely to hear. I launched a new version of my website back at the end of February, and it's been over a year in development, so it's really nice that it's finally live, and all of that hard work is now finished, which is great. The idea was to sort of make it a lot easier to use and to bring everything kind of under one roof, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out, so I'm glad to hear that you like it too. Crafty I am or Jan, I can't quite see. Sorry, the writing on my screen's really small. Says, I spy animals back there and gnomes. Yes, I have a lot of gnomes in my house. There are gnomes everywhere. Whether that's gnomes like the ones, nope, that side on the shelf behind me, or layered paper craft gnomes. Gnomes are some of my favorite things to make. I've done hundreds of different SVG designs with them. And actually, if gnomes is something that you enjoy too, then I'm hosting a free gnome themed event coming out soon, which is the Gnome Craft Countdown. This is my third year of running it, and it's from the 1st to the 14th of April. So every day between that, you'll get 2 free SVGs every day if you sign up at craftwithsarah.com/gnomes25. From that, you can register your free ticket to get the SVGs during the event, and you'll also be shown information about how you can upgrade to the VIP option, which gives you instant access to everything straight away, plus additional gnomes that aren't included with the free tickets. So if you like gnomes as much as I do, go check it out. Katsy says, what inspires you for your designs? It's kind of all things, really. Sometimes it might be something I've sort of seen, out and about on a walk, and you come across something and think, oh, those flowers are nice. What are they? Let's find out what they are and make a design. But also just really love playing about with paper and seeing what can be made and trial and error, and just sort of folding things up and putting them together and seeing what we come up with. And I've got a lovely team who work with me to help me come up with all the projects as well. So it's a nice sort of collaborative event where we all kind of come up with ideas together, which is nice. Deborah says, I began with Cricut long ago. I love my expression machine. I purchased the Explorer when it first came out and then purchased the Bluetooth adapter. Can I use the Explore now? I'm actually not sure. That's a little bit before my time of when I started using a Cricut machine. The first one I ever used was the Maker, so I'm not really familiar with the original Explore machines. Cricut's help is normally pretty good. If you reach out on their customer support, they might be able to help you with that. Or maybe if you go to the Facebook group for the Card Maker Success Summit, I know there are some other presenters in there who are also Cricut crafters. If you ask a question in there, then maybe one of them will know the answer to that, but I'm sorry, I don't. Sandra says, do you have a design background? Yes, so my main design, that didn't make sense. My degree that I did at university was in web design. So that was sort of a mixture of design work and graphic design, but also coding. So I worked as a web developer, a coder, for my first few years after graduating university. And I started Craft with Sarah. It was originally called something different, but just as a little card making blog to learn a bit more web development and practice my skills. And then over time, just kind of started growing that and adding more to it. And now, sort of 4 years later, it's my full-time job, which is really fun. And I'm very much enjoying not having to do website coding anymore. My new website was not coded by me. I hired a wonderful web development agency to do that for me because it's far more clever than I know how to do. I much prefer the pretty designing to coding. Brandy says, what is your favorite crafty tool? Well, obviously it's the Cricut, but apart from that, there is a double-sided tape runner that I absolutely love. I don't know, I do have it nearby. So I do a lot of 3D crafts where sometimes glue isn't ideal because you want it to hold straight away. And this double-sided tape runner is amazing. It's called an Easy Runner Grand. You can see it in there. And it works really well. I've tried lots of tape runners over the years. And this one, I've never had it jam up on me. It works really nice. It makes a proper satisfying noise when you run it along. And the tape inside is replaceable. So if it runs out, you don't need to replace the whole thing. You can just get a refill, which is nice. It works out a little bit cheaper than having to replace it every time. Kathy says, do you have a Starburst card that doesn't have something in the center that I could add my own sentiment or character to the center? So I don't at the moment, but what you could do is take one of the thank you cards, and then you could delete the layers that have the text on, so this pale colored one and then the darker one underneath. And then you could draw a rectangle in Design Space, whatever your design software is, that sort of covers up all the edges of the text so you can't see it anymore. And then weld that to the Starburst layer and join it together. Then it would just have a rectangle in the middle, and then you could add whatever you want to in the middle. So you could customize these ones to make them a little bit more flexible for other occasions. Brandy says, any fun crafty hack you can share? Oh, don't know really. I'm not sure this is quite a crafty hack, but the 3D lanterns have been really popular in the sort of Cricut crafting world recently, and we've been doing quite a lot of them ourselves. And we've got some new Easter egg lanterns which will be coming out next week. So this is an example. This one will be a free design coming out on my website next week, which you'll be able to get at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs. But as far as the little hack, we were finding that because these are big, the lights, when we put them in, weren't quite reaching up to the top. So one of my team members came up with the brilliant idea of making a tube that goes inside that the lights can be wrapped around. So this way, the lights go all the way up to the top so you can see it glowing through everywhere. Where's my camera? Everywhere it's supposed to go, all the way up nice and evenly. It's really easy to make, and it just means that the lanterns work so much nicer than just putting the lights in the bottom and not having it travel up all the way. But if you didn't want to do that quite so big, you can make it smaller too, and then you wouldn't need the tube inside because then the lights will be strong enough to light up the whole thing. Not sure I can, if I light it up to show you, not quite sure. I think it's going to be too light in here for you to really see, but we'll give it a go. Put that side back on. There we go. You can just about see that glowing all different colours with the light I've got in there. So yeah, that'll be coming out next week, along with a load of other Easter egg designs as well. Turn that off now, otherwise it's just going to sit here glowing at me. Val says, can I use the files with a scanning cap? Yes, you can. My files will open with the Canvas Workspace software. And in fact, as part of the website redesign, we've been going back through our older SVGs and making them more compatible with scanning cap machines. So before, we never used to save versions specifically for the scanning cap, but with any new layered designs we're putting out. And also we've gone back through all the free SVGs and also all the Gnome SVGs. We've now included a separate version that works better with scanning cap machines. And if you've downloaded any of those designs, it will be the ones in the 04 split by color folder. But as part of that, I'm also creating a load of free videos on how to use my designs with a scanning cap and also with a silhouette and of course a Cricut. You can find all those videos at craftwithsarah.com/help. From there, it lists out the different types of machine. I'm really sorry, my doorbell's just gone. I've been waiting for this delivery for days. I'm going to be 2 seconds. I'm really, 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 really sorry. I'll be as quick as I can. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that. That was such bad timing. It's had days to come and then it happens to come in the half an hour where I'm doing a live video. But hey, that is life. All right, I'm back now. All right. Crafty I Am says, what do you do with your scraps? Well, these Starburst cards are perfect for using up your scraps because you only need little bits in all of the different sides. So you can use your pattern paper in those. And then for using up scraps, I store all my scraps in folders so that I've got them all. I don't like throwing anything away. Because I do a lot of layered cardstock designs, often some of them might just need a little bit of one colour. So rather than cutting into a brand new sheet, I'll try and use up my scraps as much as I can. And that does tend to go quite a long way towards using them up. But yeah, just lots of different things. If I do have little bits that I think are going to be a bit hard to use, then I put them in a box, and then when that's full, they get donated to sort of Cubs or anyone that I think might use them. Miss Kelly says, what advice would you give a beginner? So I'm not sure whether you mean for crafting in general or for Cricut crafting, but if it's Cricut crafting, my advice would just be to get that machine taken out the box, plug it in, and just make something. I see a lot of times people buy the machine and then don't use it because they're not quite sure how. But the sooner you start, the sooner you'll pick it up. And if you're looking for beginner tutorials, check out that craftwithsarah.com/help link. Choose the Cricut option, and there are some videos in there. And I'd also sort of recommend, if you're going to do a beginner project, choose something a little bit on the simpler side for your very first one, just while you're getting used to it. So something that's maybe only got a couple of colors or something like that, nothing with really intricate details. And then that'll help, I think. Flo says, can you make these cards in the smaller A2 size? Yes, you can resize them in Design Space. So if when you've uploaded the SVG, it loads in kind of full size like this. So it's 10 inches by 7 to make a 5 by 7 inch card. You could just resize it in Design Space, untick the padlock above the width and the height, and then resize it to whatever size A2 would be. It might squish it a little bit because it won't quite be changing in proportion, but I think it should still work quite nicely resized to those other sizes. And the same would work for A6 cards in the UK. In the UK, our card sizes go different. So A2 for us is absolutely massive. So the first time when I was looking online at cards and I saw people making A2 cards, I was like, why are you making cards that are like this big? And then I realized that actually that's really small. It's the same as our A6 cards. Katsy says, what weight paper do you recommend for the 3D projects? So this is again where it's a little bit different in the UK because we measure our cardstock in GSM, not pounds. So I'm not quite sure what it would work out for in pounds. But in GSM, I tend to kind of use between 200 and 250 GSM. 300 if it needs to be a little bit sturdier. For example, for these eggs, they kind of work nicer with thicker card. But if you're doing something like card making, as long as your base card is quite thick, anything you put on the front, it doesn't really matter. I tend to mix and match and go for what the color looks like more than the thickness, because it say once you're gluing it together, it doesn't matter quite so much. Crafty I Am says, are you or would you consider making templates to fussy cut? Yes, so this is also something we've done as part of the new website, is we're redoing all the old designs to include a hand cutting version as well, which I think is what you mean. So if you download any of the free SVGs at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs, all of them, all of the layered SVGs now come with a hand cutting version as well. There's a color version or a black and white version for if you'd rather cut out each part and trace it onto coloured card. So yeah, all those free SVGs have been done. We've also done all of the existing Gnome designs, and all the Gnome designs coming out as part of the Gnome Craft Countdown in April also will come with hand cutting versions. We had hoped to have every single design done by the time the new website launched, but it took a lot longer than we thought. So we're still working through those other ones, but our aim is that by the end of this year, all of the older designs will have hand cutting versions in them, as well as the cutting machine versions. And any new designs that we put out from now, if it's a layered design, will have a hand cutting version too. Cheryl says, is there a particular Cricut machine to purchase that is more user-friendly for a beginner? I don't think so, really, because they all use the same software, which is called Design Space. So whichever Cricut you get, you'll use the same software. So you'd need to learn the same thing. And really, the main difference between the machines is either the size or the different things they can cut. So the Maker and the Maker 3 and the new Maker 4 can cut a few more things than the other machines. They can go a little bit thicker. You can get different blades for them, but it doesn't really make them more complicated to use. It just means you can do a bit more with them. They're all fairly similar in how they work. The only machine I've ever kind of struggled with is the original Cricut Joy, the little blue ones. Just because they're so small, it does really limit you with what you can make with them. So if you were looking for a machine, I would recommend at least the Joy Extra, which are the white machines. They're really good, and they're a lot more compact than the Explorer Maker models. So if you've not got a lot of room, then the Joy Extra is a great option. But generally, the bigger machines, I think, are. I think they're worth the extra money just because then you can go up to 12 by 12 and it just gives you more possibilities of what you can make. All right, so that's my half an hour coming to an end. Thank you so much for watching, and apologies again that I had to dash out for a couple of seconds. But if you've got any other questions, leave a comment on YouTube under the video and I'll check in and reply back to you where possible. I hope you have a wonderful time at the rest of the Card Maker Success Summit, and there are loads more videos still to come out, so you've got loads of crafty inspiration still left. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can check out my website at craftwithsarah.com. But that's it from me for now, so bye.